I've had some people ask me why I make my own guitar necks, and it's pretty simple. Some of the ones I was pricing, like this one, these guitar necks for just for a cigar box guitar can go anywhere from 50 to 80 bucks. And to me, I just want to keep it cost effective. I want to keep it real simple. I like the rustic look of what I build. And I have tried using one of these necks on a build that I was looking at here, and I tried it on a jewelry box. Now, I had it all pretty much done, well, almost, but it's such a pain in the rear to get these things all finagled in here. It's a real hassle, and so I just gave up on using these for projects. Yeah, they look kind of cool, but it's a lot of work. And also, I have a lot of people asking about why I don't use cigar boxes, and they're actually a real hassle to work with. The lid's fixed. You have to cut in indentions here and here, and if you want to put a pickup on the lid, you have to deal with all the wires when you're opening and closing the lid. It's such a small space. To me, it's not worth the effort. Some of these boxes can get they're really beautiful boxes, but they can get real intricate. And this one is a beautiful box inside and out, but the way they're constructed, you have to do a lot of work on these. And to me, it's just not worth the effort. So that's why I kind of stick to crazy things. I have had an idea to make a guitar out of a boat oar. So that's something I may work on in the future, but to get 3 strings on here would be almost impossible. So I'll probably just keep that for a future project. And some of this neck here is like 45 or 50 bucks. You know, it looks great on this box here, but you know, it wouldn't look good on my washboard guitar. It's just too finished looking, and I think it'd be too out of place. That's why I just do my own. You know, whenever I get people asking me to build them something, I kind of ask them what they're looking for. You know, to me, the more rustic and the more realistic I can keep them, the more fun it is for me. I think it is when you go out in the field and you play, people are going, "What the heck is that?" To me, that's more fun than making it pretty obvious. You can even buy these ones, guitar necks like this, and you have to actually put an anchor bolt in here and work it. But I don't like it because it butts up against it. It just does. It looks kind of funky. I think I don't really care for it. So I had people ask me how I build mine. Well, I actually buy the fretboards from a place. Well, I'm not. MGB does not sponsor any of my videos. I just like them because their prices are great, and he ships really fast. If you have any issues, you can call him up. You go on his website. He has tons of tutorials, and it's really helped me just become a better builder. So I'll buy these. This is a maple keyboard fretboard, but these are like $15. These composite ones, and I like them because if you wanted to make your own fretboard, it'd cost you a fortune because you have to buy the tools. You have to buy the saw to cut these, and you have to buy the frets. Then you have to get the fret shaper tool. I mean, that's like $200 or $300. To me, I'd rather just buy them like this and work from there. So what I do is I go down to Home Depot and I buy 2 boards for the necks. I buy oak. These are 1x2s. They're actually 1x1.5. I can't remember how long they are, but they're only a few bucks. And I buy the 1/2-inch one as well. The reason I buy 2 different ones is I don't want to buy a whole board because if it warps, it's going to warp the whole neck of the guitar, and I want to keep it so I kind of can stabilize it. So what I'll do is I'll take the smaller board first, and I'll cut it the size. And again, here's my overhang I have on my guitars, like this one here. I just like the look of that. And when you mount the neck on here, you can keep the neck flat so it doesn't skew one way or the other. It helps you keep it flat so the string's set up fine. And so that's just I'm not a professional woodworking guy. I've figured this all out on my own. I didn't have anybody helping me. I just did it on my own. I kind of figured it out. So I'll buy the 1.5 by 1/4 inch. Well, these are 36-inch long. And I'll take some glue. I'll cut it. So what I'll do is I'll measure how long I need it, of course. And I keep a slot up here for the nut. And that goes right up on the top. So it's pretty easy to cut it. And I just measure it and I mark it with a pencil. So I just go over my chop saw and cut it. Now I'll take some Type Bond wood glue, which I think works great. And I'll set it on here and I'll just clamp it to the table. I have a really good table over here that's about 2 inches thick, solid wood, and it's very sturdy and very stable. So I'll just clamp these overnight or whatever, or more overnight. Then when that's ready to set up, I'll take them out. Then I'll take the next board and again cut it the size. You want to make sure you get it to where your heel down here is set up, and you need to figure out how much of a tuner block you need up here. Mine, I think, are about 4, maybe 5 inches. I'd rather go over than under. So if I have a 5 inches, I can either put 4 tuners up here, or I can just round the head off and make it look more custom. So then again, you set it on your table. You clamp them to the table, and then when they get completed, you're good to go. And what I do is I have I made several of these heels here. And there's the anchor bolt that goes in them. But yeah, I take the spare wood that I have that I cut off on these pieces, make them, and I take it over to my bands or my sander over my belt sander, and I just shape them like that. I keep it pretty basic. I don't make any fancy. To me, a lot of work goes into them. Doesn't really add anything. This one here, you can see, is a little more tapered, a little more fancy, but that's just a lot of work, you know. And to me, it doesn't add or take away. Just more work. And then I'll glue it to the bottom like this one. Again, I put it on my table and clamp them, and then I'll stain it and put some Varathane on here or whatever type of finish. I usually use red oak stain. It seems to work better for me. This one is a neck made out of spruce. I've had some disappointments with spruce because it does seem to bow a little bit once you put tension on here. So I've been trying to go and make all my necks out of oak. I keep this one kind of as a spare. So also when I put the heel on here, I'll take my belt sander. I'll shave off the edges on the board. So these are pretty sharp edges. So I'll trim those off with my belt sander just to make it a little comfortable for the person playing the guitar. That's pretty much how I make the necks. What I do is I actually will go over there and I have templates, and I'll put them on the top here so I can drill out my tuners. The thing about wood is you can drill these straight in, but you're going to tear out the wood on the back, and you may gouge some on the front. So I use a template, and it controls where the drill bit goes, so it drills straight. It doesn't have all this garbage hanging off, and the hole is straighter, and it looks prettier when you put these tuners on. So it works out really well. Then I'll I'll stain it. I'll sand it, stain it, then I'll put the finish on it, and then it'll be ready to go. Pretty much ready to be put on the guitar. So that's pretty much how I make mine, and why. And why is the cost is just, to me, is more effective. Instead of spending $50 to $80 on a neck, then these are hard to work with. these will not work on any of the projects that I've worked on, except for maybe that Bigfoot Sasquatch guitar build. And I actually built my own neck this long to put in that little project. It worked out for me since I know the dimensions, I know how much I need. I can pretty much cut these out myself. To buy these are all pre-drilled. They're pretty clean. They even pre-drill the holes for the tuner where you mount them. So these are actually really nice, but I just don't, this wood's just spruce. So there's nothing fancy, they'll gouge easy. So I don't use these very much. Again, maple, I don't buy a lot of these. These are a little bit pricier, and I don't see the need for a maple neck. These composite ones work fine. I think they're more durable. They stand up to more abuse. That is pretty much what I was wanting to go over on next today. You know, these boards are $3 a piece, probably about $3. These fretboards are like $15. I just ordered 2 more because I have a couple more customers wanting some custom guitars made. So these are 15 bucks. These are, let's say, $5. You know, that's 35 bucks. These nuts are like $1 to put on there. I get these off of the scrap when I cut these to length. So that's pretty much got it. The anchor bolts, they're like $1 a piece. So I could actually make a whole neck for half price of what these expensive ones cost. And I just don't like the looks of these. I think these are just whatever. I'll eventually use this one on another build. But I like the extension on this where it hangs over versus just butting up against. Now this one I made, this one was just butt up against as well. I was making this for another project, and it was a box that I really didn't want the hangover on, so I decided to make this. I'll probably eventually use this. It's kind of a backup, but I'll use it because I've already got my time and money invested in it. But anyway, well, that's pretty much it for this video. I just want to go into more detail. I had people ask me about how I build them. Like I said, I've got no training on this. I just figured it out myself, and that's pretty much what you have to do. Okay, great. Thanks. Appreciate it.